Hi chums, it's me again. So I'm in a workshop now. I'm going to show you what I'm at recently. I mentioned to Mike and Carl, and maybe a couple of others, that I was doing something a bit different in terms of wood turning. It's not really wood turning, but it's woodwork of sorts, but it involves a lathe. But I'll show you now. You wouldn't believe I'm actually starting to sweat after being in the greenhouse there, but I've been working there all morning, so you're seeing the end of the work basically. Right, onto this here. This is what I've been at. Nuts and bolts, right? So that's what my little secret was, you know. And those are 1x8 TPI, and they're good fun to make. Now, why am I making these? They're totally useless and totally pointless. What I want to do is I want to get practice with a skew and with doing precise work. So without this would be good. Now, those are Iroko, and it threads very well. But this is U, right? And as you can see inside there, it takes a beautiful thread, and that's end grain. This is face grain here, okay? Because end grain doesn't thread. You rip the top off your threads, or they're very weak because there's nothing to support them. But if you do it in side grain, you do get a much better thread. Although you do have end grain on each side, you know. But that's end grain in U, and it threads beautifully. There's another piece of U there. Like you can see the thread in there. It's really, really nice. Now, and there's you again. That's not as good a piece there, but I discovered something, right? I did a piece, this is you here, and those are turned to exactly an inch, alright? So I went over to my mates the other night who are engineers, and I walked in and I said to them, look guys, I'm making these wooden nuts and bolts, and I'm having a problem because I'm ripping the top off the threads. Now, what'll I tell you, if you walk into an engineer with a wooden nut and bolt and ask for advice, you'd better be going nowhere soon, because they make sure you get your answer. So, hours later, I learned it very quickly, but I learned it in depth. What I was doing was I was cutting it too close to tolerance. What I did there, I was making this barrel exactly 1 inch, but instead of that, I should have made it 980 thou, about 2% under, to give the sodium not ripping the top off the thread with the die. So that's what my problem was. Now I haven't done one since, but I'll remount that and bring it down to that sort of 980 instead of 1,000. But that's what my problem was. I was making it too tight, and then the die was ripping the top off the thread as I was cutting it, you know. So I'll be interested to get that done again. This one here, interestingly, that wasn't 1,000, that was 985 when I measured it. So it actually was within the tolerance that I needed. So I'm going to give this another go. That's what I was at, guys, just making nuts and bolts. But what do you call it? It's good fun. It is really good fun. I use the Beal tap to make the nut. The hardest part is actually cutting the hexagon. And what I did was there, you do it with a compass. There's it there. You get your radius, and then you set your compass on the edge, and you just mark from one point to the next. Then bring your foot back, mark again, foot back, and you'll get a hexagon around the side. And then just stick it onto the sander. Now, it's not dead accurate. I could build a jig, but I'm not doing these for like to sell or anything, you know. Or they're not going to serve it. They're not going to be made for a purpose. So it's just a bit of fun, you know. But I'm quite pleased with that one there. That's actually the first one I made. And it's like a lot of these things, the first one you make as a prototype is usually the best, because you really do take your time. The threads cut really well on that one. Get some light behind it. You can see there they cut well, and it's not loose on it. It's hardly any movement at all there. So there you are, folks. That's what I've been at, and I made a lot of these actually. I made a lot of these here as well. These mallets, and they're made out of Iroko. Iroko is awful stuff to work with. It's an African mahogany, and it comes off as chips. It doesn't come off as curls, and but it's very hard, and it's good stuff, you know. The problem is I'm giving these to people, and I'm purposely finishing them with wax and all, even though they're a tool, and then they're all in a dilemma that they can't use them. One of the guys put his in his house as an ornament because he doesn't want to use it in the workshop. But there you are. Look, folks, there's more evidence of my absolute laziness. Potatoes still sitting, but they've got nice little purple chits on them, and they'll be in this week. And in here, just back to the gardening, that there is the box of stuff that Scott sent me. That's all planted. And in here, look, there's my onions, and there's still loads and loads and loads of seeds. What do you see? Loads of seeds now. Piles and piles. Sorry. Piles of seeds. Loads and loads and loads. You know. Must be 50 packets of seeds in there. But anyway, that's where we are. And there'll be more later, but really at the moment there's nothing to show. And the thing is, I shouldn't really be complaining because I'm getting it no harder than anybody else, you know. And I could be in Alaska where there's no summer at all, there's no heat. But that's it. So, all the best, folks. Bye bye.